Welcome, traveler of the forgotten. Our world keeps secrets buried under deserts, oceans, and jungles. Civilizations once thrived with knowledge beyond imagination, then vanished as if erased by something that did not want their stories told. Tonight we journey into 5 societies most people never heard of. Each one left chilling evidence that human history is stranger than what we are taught. Keep your lights on. What you are about to hear may stay with you long after the video ends. Imagine a landscape thousands of years ago in ancient Mesopotamia. Villagers carve their gods into stone, yet one culture creates statues that do not look human at all. The Ubaid, they lived before recorded history, yet they built temples and towns across southern Iraq. Archaeologists expected to find primitive art. Instead, they uncovered figurines with long reptilian faces, scaly textures over their bodies, large slanted eyes that do not blink. These figures appear in powerful poses. Leaders, parents, creators. Some cradle infants that share their reptilian traits. Skeletons found in nearby cemeteries show elongated skulls, as if heads were shaped intentionally or by nature we do not understand. When excavations expanded in the 1900s, workers reported sightings of snakes emerging from sealed chambers. People fell ill with no explanation. Entire digs were cancelled because locals refused to step foot near ancient mounds they believed belonged to serpent spirits. Researchers still debate whether this was mythology or a warning. Why did the Ubaid give reptiles such sacred importance? Were they worshipping something they saw, something that ruled them? There is a chilling pattern. Across the world, ancient cultures show reptilian gods arriving from the sky. Coincidence or buried memory? Scholars avoid that question, yet one archaeologist wrote in his notes, never published officially, that he believed the Ubaid did not disappear. They simply shed their skin and waited beneath the sand. Their temples remain unstudied because every attempt to uncover them ends in disaster. The desert wind there does not sound like wind. Some say it hisses. We leave the sands and sail to a place the Egyptians called the land of the gods, Punt, a golden paradise that supplied Egypt with treasures and incense. The Egyptians carved stories of their journey to Punt. They found a kingdom rich in life, strange sacred animals, beautiful homes surrounded by tropical forests. Yet the depictions of Punt's rulers show something unsettling. Their bodies appear swollen, hips so wide they could barely move, legs twisted in unnatural shapes, faces puffy and filled with pain. The artists were skilled enough to capture beauty, so this was no mistake. What illness cursed Punt's nobility? Some say they intermarried for centuries until the royal bloodline fell into deformity. Others believe the deformity was the source of their power, a physical change brought by consuming something forbidden, a ritual, a gift from their gods that eventually turned into a curse. Pharaoh Hatshepsut sent a grand naval expedition to Punt. The ships returned with treasure and carvings of miraculous landscapes, yet none of the sailors who stepped on Punt's soil ever returned home. Their journals ended abruptly, describing earthquakes, strange lights at sea, water rising faster than a storm should allow. Many think Punt slid beneath the ocean, an entire culture swallowed. All that survives is a single inscription, warning future kings never to seek Punt again. The location remains unknown. Every attempt to find it leads to conflicting clues. Some think the kingdom still exists below the waves, its ghostly palaces visited only by creatures that never surface. The sea keeps their final chapter locked away. Travel now to the great Indus Plains, where a grand civilization once thrived. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, cities more advanced than anywhere else in their time. Clean streets, complex water systems, and a writing system that has never been deciphered. No kings, no armies, no palaces, a peaceful mystery, then nothing. They vanished without war or famine records. Skeletons lie in the streets in positions, suggesting they collapsed suddenly. Some researchers found traces of radiation in the ruins. Others found bodies burned from the inside. Buildings remain intact as if death struck quicker than destruction. What force could cause an entire civilization to die instantly? Some scientists whisper about ancient weapons lost to time. Stories of a light brighter than 1,000 suns appear in Indian texts written thousands of years later. Pure coincidence or a preserved warning? Local legends say the city is haunted. Travelers who stay too long report whispering voices echoing from empty homes. Dogs refuse to enter the ruins. Some believe the Indus people knew something terrible was coming. Their writing might explain everything if ever decoded. Yet for some reason, every attempt to crack the script has failed, almost like someone or something does not want us to read their final message. We go east, deeper into Asia, where a farmer in China once struck something buried while digging his field. He found jade, then gold, then masks, huge bronze faces with bulging eyes and sharp ears, unlike anything in Chinese history. This was Sanxingdu, a culture that appeared advanced but left no records in the official history of China. How could a civilization so capable be forgotten? They built monumental structures, then suddenly abandoned the entire city. They burned their own sacred treasures before leaving, as if trying to hide or destroy something. Archaeologists believe a massive earthquake diverted their river and forced them to move. Yet villagers say the real story is dark. The masks are believed to represent powerful deities or beings from another world. At night, workers at the dig site claimed the masks turned slightly, as if watching. Tools malfunctioned. Cameras died. A security guard swore he saw eyes glowing from one of the pits. Some workers refused to continue. They said the ground felt alive, like it breathed beneath their feet. Only a small part of Sanxingdu has been uncovered. Most remains buried because those leading the project prefer to leave whatever sleeps there undisturbed. There is fear that if uncovered fully, the city might wake up with it. Ancient cultures often leave clues behind, like crumbs. Sanxingdu left glowing embers beneath the soil. We cross the ocean to a city that floats. Nanmad, built on coral reefs using gigantic basalt stones, transported somehow without wheels or metal. Thousands once lived there despite having no farmland. So why build a city in the middle of the sea? Local tradition says the rulers, the Sadler dynasty, held dark power. They demanded strict obedience and performed rituals that made the ocean itself angry. Those who disobeyed were dragged into black pools where the tide never returned their bodies. When explorers first attempted to map Nanmadol, islanders refused to go near it. They believed the place is cursed, guarded by angry spirits of long-dead kings. A German governor laughed at the warnings and forced his crew to explore. That same night he died screaming. The crew fled without explanation. His cause of death was impossible to determine. No wounds, no illness, just terror frozen on his face. The canals around Nanmadol remain unnaturally silent. Fish avoid them. Birds do not land on certain tombs. Scientists suspect secret tunnels under the city hold the remains of ancient royalty. Sealed chambers no one dares to open. Legends say the original builders were not human. They came from the sky in vessels of light and left when the ocean rose too close. The structures were simply too heavy and too complex for islanders to build. Modern engineers cannot explain the construction even today. Each of these civilizations shares a disturbing theme. They achieved greatness early, then vanished completely, leaving symbols and warnings we barely understand. The Ubed with their reptilian rulers, Punt swallowed by the sea after angering the god, the Indus Valley silenced by an unknown catastrophe, Sanxingdu abandoning their masked city in fear, Nanmadol built by beings the locals refuse to name. We like to believe progress moves in one direction,
People get smarter. Technology improves. Knowledge grows. Yet history shows forgotten peaks of brilliance, followed by sudden collapse. What if our current age is not the first advanced chapter, but the latest in a cycle? Civilizations rise. Something happens. They disappear. Ruins remain as whisper. Imagine how future explorers would see our world if we vanished. A few skyscrapers half buried in sand. A satellite dish broken by time. Traces of a species that reached for the stars but left no explanation. Maybe that is the same puzzle we are solving now. The past is not a straight path. It twists in the dark. Hidden civilizations warn us to look deeper, to question what we think is true. There are still cities beneath the sea, still scripts waiting to be read, still tunnels sealed by those who feared what was inside. Ask yourself, why do so many stories talk about visitors from the sky, serpent gods watching mankind, catastrophes that erase knowledge overnight, power too dangerous to exist? Something extraordinary might have happened long before recorded history, something the survivors tried to bury, yet clues continue to surface. Statues with eyes that feel almost human, carvings that match constellation maps. No ancient culture should know. Ruins aligned with cosmic precision. Every discovery edges us closer to a truth our ancestors might have died to protect. Before this video ends, choose one lost civilization we explored tonight. Picture the final moment before everything changed. A priest carving a warning on stone. A queen sinking into rising waves. A scientist in Mohenjo-Daro watching the sky turn white. Try to imagine the fear, the confusion, the knowledge that their world was ending, and there was nothing they could do. These cultures vanished, yet their silence still speaks. If we listen carefully, we might hear what they tried to tell us. The past is not dead. It is buried, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it. Maybe that someone is you. If this journey into ancient mysteries pulled you in, let me know in the comments which civilization disturbed you the most, and which one you want me to explore deeper. Make sure to like and subscribe, because our world holds far more shadows than light, and together we will keep searching. The next discovery might change everything we think we know.